Vast Reaches Unclaimed is the debut full length from Majesties, a Minneapolis, Minnesota based melodic death metal trio who are very much in the uh, mid to late 90s style of Swedish melodic death metal with their own flavor attached to it. And a lot of that comes from known quantities, admittedly, where uh, these folks are generally involved in Obsequie's live lineup. One of the folks playing guitar and drums and vocals is actually the guy from Obsequie you would know, and then the other fellows are from Inexorum, which I think it's a band that everyone should know if you like this record. It is sort of the add-on recommendation where if you like what this record does and you haven't been listening to the last three Inexorum records for however so many years, you've been missing out on a maybe a slightly more modern style of blackened melodic death metal, but certainly something that is related because the knowledge of harmonies and structure and references to classic melodic death metal are also there in a very real way. Now here, of course, we do get leads and input from the guy from Obsequie, and again that will generate more interest for the band. It does define what this album sounds like, and it separates it far and wide from a lot of the Swedish melodic death metal uh, references I could make to it. So let's just listen to a song here to get an idea of where these worlds tear apart, I guess. So the way that I saw this album is that a lot of the performances are at the intensity of something like the second Gates of Ishtar album, The Dawn of Flames. That album has sort of a rock affect of it, which is a product of the late 90s, which is not really here. The heavy metal cadence of it all is very similar to Carpet, the second album from Ceremonial Oath, which is kind of a precursor to the more popular In Flames moments in a lot of ways. I think they even cover an Iron Maiden song on that second album, so you get where they're coming from. With the additional input from Tanner Anderson on the guitars, this record does get a bit of a push towards like the quality of an album like The Gallery in terms of leads, but that is, you know, looking back, The Gallery was a little bit more progressive minded. It was a step beyond the early 90s melodic death metal style into their own thing. And this is sticking to more of a straightforward guitar driven sound that doesn't incorporate, you know, extraneous vocals and keyboards and things like that. So, you know, your expectations should probably be closer to the Jester Race era In Flames in a lot of ways, even though I find that a little bit of a superficial comparison. This is a little bit more tightly wound, less droning on and whatnot. And there is a shade of kind of the no fashion side of things as well. So, really, I think the best melodic death metal, in my opinion, is emotionally driven music that is able to inspire a broad audience with inspiring guitar work. And I think that's all that this album does, and it's all that it needs to be effective. It is very much a guitar-driven album, and the production values are very fine. They're very similar to the last Obsequie record, where the bass is a certain register, the drums have a certain presence. You know, there's a lot of the same tools going into those, the mix, the master, and the performances. So it's a familiar sound in two different ways that are both very good. And I found myself really appreciating that there was many things that I like going into this, and it was an easy in, I think, right away. Um, yeah, I think that's all that most people need to hear is that there is um, some path of redemption for melodic death metal beyond 1999. For a lot of people who just really can't stand most of that shit beyond a certain point, because it lost its interest, its integrity, and its wonderment at at all. And I think this is an important point that this band is able to bring is that some of that magic of what melodic death metal meant to a lot of people in a certain era does feel like it's being reprised by actual fans here and not just machined into the general language of whatever's popular right now. So it seems very genuine, and damn, it's just a catchy record. I think that's the important thing. This is a very catchy melodic death metal record that has riffs. It, yeah, it's great. Very high recommendation. It's probably, I think, feasibly the album of the month. I'm not gonna make that decision yet, but I would say so. For most people, this will be the big one. So yeah, it's you can already listen to it. Probably go check that out as soon as you can, and read more about it here on the written review if you feel like it.